of formic acid, the same type of acid that the ants inject or bee sting might put on the skin. So you would know if you ran into it. You'd be very surprised because it just looks like a bunch of green leaves. But if you got close and if you ventured to touch it, you would know why they call it stinging nettle. And so it's only if you run into the fresh plant, the stingers are only active if it hasn't been dried or if it hasn't been cooked. So a lot of people will cook it because it is edible. They'll make it into, say, a pesto. They'll include it in their soup because it's highly nutritious. Stinging nettle is one of those nutritious herbs that is just a powerhouse. It's full of B vitamins. It's full of calcium, selenium, vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin K. And if you're familiar with vitamins and minerals, you know that a calcium deficiency is very serious, but stinging nettle could help you with that. A selenium deficiency is very serious, but stinging nettle could help you with that. If someone is deficient in selenium, they would feel sluggish, they would have a slow metabolism and be prone to weight gain. They may have issues with wound healing, so they cut themselves and it takes a lot longer for them to heal. Someone who has a selenium deficiency, which is a mineral, which is a trace mineral that we all need, which is lacking in a lot of our soil because of our farming practices, which only focus on NP and K, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, putting that in the soil rather than making sure that all the minerals are restored in the soil. So a lot of people are walking around with mineral deficiencies and just don't know it. But if you do have some of these issues like a slow metabolism, slow wound healing, you're having issues with your memory, hair loss, if you have been diagnosed with infertility, or you have a low immune system, so you get sick all the time, then you more than likely have a selenium deficiency. Working on a podcast situation here. So if you do have a selenium deficiency, you would know by some of those symptoms, but you wouldn't have to worry about it if you're having your stinging nettle on a daily basis. You're going to get a significant amount of selenium. Another mineral that is extremely important for our health that stinging nettle is full of is calcium. And calcium is so important. We all know because it's always on commercials and different things that you need to get significant amounts of calcium for bone health. But what people don't talk about is that someone who has a calcium deficiency will have high blood pressure. So if you have a high blood pressure, you more than likely have a calcium deficiency and also a magnesium deficiency, because those two minerals work hand in hand and you need to have them well balanced. And the thing about taking an herb or eating an herb or ingesting an herb in a tincture form is that you're getting the well-balanced mineral makeup. You're not just taking too much calcium or too much magnesium. You're going to get a balanced dosage of it. And someone who has a calcium deficiency, like I said, more than likely has high blood pressure. You know that you had calcium deficiency if you look at your nails and they're brittle and breaking frequently. If you have tingling in your fingers and toes. If you feel tired all the time, you're more than likely to have a calcium deficiency. Or if you're having muscle spasms, like Charlie horses, or any type of muscle issues, then you more than likely are dealing with calcium deficiency, which if you do begin to take your stinging nettle, you will see a great improvement in that. Some other things that stinging nettle is great for is for pain relief. Stinging nettle is great for all sorts of pain because it reduces inflammation and it provides the nutrition that your body needs to heal properly. If you're one of my clients, as quite a few of you are already, you know that I harp on nutrition and building your nutrition, and stinging nettle is a nutritious herb that allows for you to do that. So if you're dealing with a condition such as a painful condition such as back pain or arthritis, gout, and that's for any type of arthritis, the rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, the stinging nettle is great for that. If you're someone who has hives, if you often deal with hives, that's another thing that goes with calcium deficiency. Someone who breaks down in hives or has itchy skin all the time, psoriasis, that is in part due to a calcium deficiency. So like I said, stinging nettle is full of calcium. If you're dealing with an autoimmune disorder, such as multiple sclerosis, MS, Graves' disease, lupus, the thyroid condition, such as Hashimoto's, all of those can be improved with stinging nettle because it works to aid in the immune response. Someone who has an autoimmune condition, their immune system is a bit out of whack. It's attacking the body instead of attacking an invader. It's seeing some type of cell or organ, such as a gland, like the thyroid, as an invader rather than something that should be there. So the person's own immune system attacks its body, attacks their body in an immune response, in an autoimmune disease. And apparently autoimmune diseases are becoming the most prevalent diseases among Americans, especially because of our lack of vitamin D, which we get from the sun in high doses, and we also can find that in stinging nettle. So stinging nettle is great for that. Stinging nettle is also great for cancer, preventing cancer, and all types of cancers, and also cognitive diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia. Stinging nettle is an herb that has a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine helps with memory and cognitive ability. So, like age-related mental decline is greatly helped by taking stinging nettle. Another thing that stinging nettle does is it helps with vision. So if someone has macular degeneration or vision issues, they can also take stinging nettle, or you can take stinging nettle to prevent those. And the thing about herbs is that it's best to work on prevention. So eating them, taking them daily on a regular basis will help to prevent these types of disorders with the heart. Another nutrient that stinging nettle has is quercetin. And if you're familiar with quercetin, it helps with heart health as well and to strengthen the heart. It's high in lutein, which is great for vision. So stinging nettle is just a powerhouse for helping someone who needs that extra nutrition. Anyone really. This is safe for pregnant women, it's safe for children, it's safe for everyone to take on a regular basis, to eat or to take in a tincture form or drink as a tea. If you do want to make your own stinging nettle tea, you will need to steep it for 10 hours. Because of all the nutrition in the herb, you want to make sure you're getting the most out of the herb. So you're going to need to bring water to a boil, place your stinging nettle in the water, allow it to steep at least 10 hours, so overnight. with the hot, and then you're going to want to allow it to cool down and steep another 10 hours to do a cold extraction of those constituents that are coming out of that herb, because there's a lot of constituents that come out in hot water or cool water, and they're going to be different constituents that you want to take out. With a tincture, you get all of those constituents right there, and you just get your little dropper of your stinging nettle, and you have all of those minerals, vitamins, and other constituents such as the quercetin, the lutein, the vitamins, and the other minerals that we talked about, such as calcium, magnesium. You have iron. Stinging nettle is a great source for iron, and those who have anemia, either anemia caused by just a simple iron deficiency, not getting enough in your diet, or pernicious anemia, where the body is attacking. It's an autoimmune condition where the body is actually attacking the cells in the intestines that would absorb the B vitamins and the iron are being affected. But stinging nettle has so many nutrients that it kind of overcomes that and helps to deal with that pernicious anemia condition where you can get enough iron. And iron is so important for the body, because without enough iron, your red blood cells cannot take oxygen to your organs to keep you functioning properly and keep you alive. So someone who has an iron deficiency is very, very, very serious, because over time it's going to cause serious issues with all of with the different organs of the body. So I feel like I've just been talking and talking and talking. Did you have any questions, Greg?
So you had, I believe there was a few, I think Minister Shante earlier had asked when we use the herbs as tea, is it best to drink warm, or can we make a batch and put it in the fridge and drink throughout the day cold and still be nutrient filled?
Yes, so you would want to do that. You would need to do that if you want to get the most out of your tea. So you need to make it warm. So you need to make an infusion warm. So you boil the water and you put your leaves or your roots, mostly your leaves. Stinging nettle tea is usually made of the leaves, and you go and boil your water and place your leaves in there while it's still boiling, and cover it and leave it to steep for at least 10 hours, so overnight. And then once that's been done, you'd want to put that same tea in the refrigerator with the herbs still in it, and leave that in the refrigerator for 10 hours. And then you strain the leaves and then drink the tea, cold or hot. You still get the benefits of the nettle.
Okay.
In the summertime, it would be great for dehydration, for keeping the body hydrated and giving all that nutrition as well.
Awesome. And thank you for the question. And by the way, if you guys would like to call in, feel free to call in. Somebody else had asked about what about lung issues? I don't know that Sister Marion, I believe, looks like I said, what about lung issues? I don't know if that was something specific with stinging nettle at this point. Maybe Sister Marion, if you want to drop it and be more specific to help us out with that one, we'll come back to you. Or if you want to even call in, if you feel like you'd like to, or if you want to get some consultation or whatever outside of this, feel free as well. I believe Sister Deborah asked, would it help with neuropathy?
Yes, it would. So it has a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Stinging nettle has over 80 constituents, so 80 biochemical constituents that have been identified within it, and we're not exactly sure how all of them work together, but we do know that acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter, in there, would help with the nerves, the nervous system, as well as the different minerals such as calcium, which would help with that as well. So as well as pain that's associated with the neuropathy.
Okay, excellent, thank you. I believe Sister Marion said that she was talking about, I guess, like focusing on like what about if somebody's having issues with coughing?
With coughing, so stinging nettle would be helpful for overall health. So when someone's healing, they're gonna need extra nutrition to overcome whatever they're dealing with. An herb that I would recommend for coughing, depending on if it's a dry cough or a wet cough, um, or a mucousy cough, that type of thing. I would suggest mullein. They're quite, or coltsfoot, depending on, if you need to dry up mucus or if you need to relieve dryness in the throat, what's causing the cough. Is it,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
depending.
depending on what's causing the cough, amen. Yeah. I believe Sister Tori was asking about is it possible to get purchase the stinging nettle?
Oh yeah.
Oh, and by the way, somebody earlier was trying to spell out. I guess they thought you were saying stinging metal. It's stinging nettle, Nettle. By the way,
Yes.
for the person who was saying that earlier, stinging, Stinging, nettle, Nettle. But yes, I'm sorry. Did you want to go ahead and say where people can order
Yeah.
from, or how they'd
Sure.
be able to get some?
Sure. So if you'd like to order from me, I make stinging nettle tincture, which is an alcohol extract, and it would be available for purchase through me for $20. If you get a dropper bottle full, which should last you a couple weeks to a month, depending on how you take the nettle. You can take quite a bit of nettle and still be fine. You can use just a few drops and get, all the nutrition that you need in just a few drops. If you're using the tinctures that I make, you just put a few drops in your tongue and you go about your day. If you want to make stinging nettle tea, you could go to a health food store in your area and pick up some dry leaves in the bulk aisle or wherever they sell it in the store, and you could steep your tea for the 10 to 20 hours of steeping, and then drink your tea as you like during the day. Or if you have stinging nettle that grows wild in your area, then you can gather and make sure you wear gloves, because they call it stinging nettle for a reason. Because when it does sting, it stings for a long time and it burns, and so you make sure you have on gloves, because it just feels like fiberglass has gotten under your skin. But once you do, you could go ahead and wash that off and saute it like you would spinach, or put it in a soup, or make a pesto out of it. Pesto is typically like olive oil and some herbs and maybe some type of cheese if you like. Putting that in there, and you put it on some bread or whatever it is that you eat pesto with, some pasta, and it tastes very good.
Okay, amen. So there you go. Sister Kimberly was saying, is it considered to be a bitter herb, something like for Passover?
You could use it for Passover. You would probably want to get the fresh herb. Typically, it's slightly bitter. It's not. It wouldn't make it to the bitters list. It's considered more of a nutritious herb. It has a kind of a sweet flavor to it as well. So bitter herbs that we use for Passover, or bitter herbs in general, are used for digestion. So dealing with meat, you may want to go with something a little more bitter, such as like rosemary, basil, foods that the herbs that people typically cook or use with meats, sage, parsley, those types of things. But yeah, nettle could be used if you have fresh nettle available.
All right, awesome. I think Well, Sister Joy asked, is it bitter? I think you just answered that. Mr. Shantae was saying the thing, I guess you mentioned this and she found it interesting, so I'm thinking maybe you might want to expand upon it or expand on this. The thing it helps is the thing it causes. She said it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but that's kind of like how homeopathy works, where you give a little bit of the issue is to make the body respond. And I think that's what stinging nettle, what its strength is that it causes pain, and in turn the body, if you touch it, it causes pain. Mm-hmm. Internally, it makes the body react. It makes the immune system react to it, as it has histamine in it. It's not well understood how it works. With many herbs, it's not completely understood exactly how they work, because there's so much in them to where it's almost like an exponential amount of possibilities of what it could be doing and how it could be working on a specific organ or a specific disorder or disease within the body. But yeah, stinging nettle, if you touch it, it hurts, but that touch is also full of formic acid, acetylcholine, other different constituents that will cause the body to have a pain reaction, but then in turn that pain reaction to work for the good of the body, or relieve the issue that it caused in the first place. So yeah, that is interesting. But a lot of herbs are have a dual personality, or have a duality to them in that way. Like, for instance, cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper will cause bleeding, cause circulation, but it will also stop bleeding if you need it. Like, herbs are very intelligent, if you will, and they work in harmony and synchronicity, basically, as to what your body needs. And yeah, there are a lot of them that will do that, will have an opposite effect that will cause, so it might have an opposite, quote unquote, negative effect that will cause a positive effect. Yarrow, another one, which can, raise blood pressure as well as lower it. I said cayenne pepper already, raise blood pressure as well as lower it, cause bleeding as well as stop bleeding. So yeah, herbs, a lot of them have a dual nature to them, and an intelligence to them. Stinging nettle is great for allergies as well. It does have histamine, and if someone's dealing with different allergies, which are usually caused by issues in the gut to begin with, stinging nettle can help you if you deal with seasonal allergies, food allergies. It will help your immune system to recalibrate and understand what's good and what's bad. I'm not sure about growing stinging nettle year-round.
And also too, as we're going, you guys can feel free, once again, if you like, feel free to try and call in. I don't think I've seen anybody try to call in. If you did and we missed you, I apologize, but I haven't seen anything come across. But you guys can feel free to call in if you like, to be able to have further conversation, maybe even to voice some things there. But also too, as far as even ordering some of these things or doing some of this stuff or whatever, what are some of the things that you personally like when you're trying to maybe when you're trying to forage and you're looking for stinging nettle, if somebody were to come across it, first of all, we would hope that you guys would look it up or make sure you take a class or get some kind of guidance to make sure you know what you're foraging for. So let's just put that out there. And of course, let's put out there that obviously she's not a doctor, although she's a herbalist and a healer. Let's make sure we put that out there for lawful purposes and legal purposes. That being said, if somebody's foraging for something, what are some things that you take in mind, knowing that stinging nettle can have these kind of effects on your fingers, on your hands, on your skin? What are some things that you would tell people to make sure that you have to do? I know you talked about this a little bit already, but some things that maybe as a reminder, since this is not your stereotypical herb as far as what people think, where there is really no stereotypical herb, but people think, oh, okay, I'll just go, I'll forage this, I'll pick this up, I'll put it in my mouth, I'll eat it, and it'll help me or whatever. What are some things that maybe people should keep in mind considering stinging nettle when they're doing that?
Well, that's a great point that you bring up about foraging stinging nettle. I think if you're going to source stinging nettle, instead of growing it, I would say go and forage it, find some, because stinging nettle, they call it a weed for a reason. It grows prolifically and can easily become, most people think of it as a nuisance because of the stinging quality to it. So it's not necessarily something you want to grow in your yard, unless you have a very large yard that you can avoid it. Because if you happen to have children run around playing or fall into it, you will remember the sting for quite a while. It's like falling into a cactus patch. So it's like if you are someone who likes to grow cactuses and that type of thing and want that type of plant around, I would suggest just going to find it. It grows very quickly and can quickly become a huge bush and grow throughout your yard or your garden. So if you were going to go forage it, it grows in forests. It doesn't necessarily need full sunlight, so you can find it. You can find it in the forest, like in kind of shaded areas. You may find it along along roadways where it's sometimes full sun, sometimes not. You will know it because it has kind of spear-shaped leaves that have they're serrated like a knife, and it can grow pretty tall. It can grow probably 4 or 5 feet tall, and it has, when it's in flower, it has these little white antenna-like flowers that kind of cascade off of it like strings with water droplets on them. They look like little white strings with water droplets coming off of it at the tops of the plant, and it's just a whole bunch of little spears and a ringlet around the stem with the little white flower string droplets coming off of it. But if you are going out to find it, make sure you have gloves and maybe some shears and something to put it in, because it's not something you want touching your skin. Anywhere it touches your skin, it can cause quite a bit of irritation, burning, sensation that lasts for a few hours. So just take the proper precaution. Wear long pants, the closed-toe shoes, gloves, that sort of thing, long sleeves.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, very, very important to know when you're going out foraging, things like that. Yeah. That somebody said it looks like a dangerous mint plant. Yeah. So yeah, these are things that we need to be aware of, and things that and hopefully, as you guys are learning some things or whatever, feel free to once again always study. Don't just take these things a word alone, but once you find there's truth to these, make sure is there anything, if you're taking stinging nettle, because of what's being there, sometimes we have to be careful about what we're taking. Are there any things as far as whether you might not know the modern medicine names for all this stuff, maybe as far as herb names, when somebody's trying to cross-reference other things that maybe people shouldn't take stinging nettle with or take stinging nettle during, or if they're maybe you should make sure that you know exactly what symptoms or you're exactly on concerning the symptoms that you're trying to take care of. Are there certain things that people should be aware of first before they start automatically just saying I'm gonna utilize this?
So if you are on blood thinning medications such as warfarin. If you take aspirin, you may not want to take stinging nettle as that can have some negative interactions. It's contraindicated to take blood thinners and nettle at the same time, or if you're on something called clopidogrel or Plavix, you may want to avoid taking stinging nettle.
So Plavix, is that like, because Vicks is made out of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to say something that's not correct at all. Vicks is what, I'm trying in my mind to say Utica for some reason, not Utica. Vicks is, what is Vicks Vapor Rub made out of?
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about Vicks.
You said Plavix?
Plavix.
Not play as in
Oh,
play around with Vicks?
To prevent blood clots and stroke.
Oh, okay.
So someone who has heart attack issues. No, Vicks Vapor Rub is menthol, eucalyptus, and menthol, eucalyptus. I can't think of the other thing in Vicks, but yeah, it's a completely different. Vicks is a salve for pain and different things like that. But I was talking about clopidogrel or Plavix, a prescription medication.
Oh, okay, that's the name of the medication. Okay, amen.
Yeah, it prevents blood clots, but it can also interact with stinging nettle. It can have some negative effects if you take it with stinging nettle. So you always have to be careful when you're on prescription medications and the different herbs that you may be taking. That's why they say mention to your doctor if you're on any type of supplement, or even if you eat a certain food all the time. Like if someone who has high blood pressure and they're taking high blood pressure medication, they're told to avoid grapefruits, because that can also lower the blood pressure significantly and cause an issue. Because you don't want your blood pressure or your blood sugar or any of those things to be too high or too low. It could be a huge issue.
Amen. Awesome. All right. Well, any other questions? Does anybody want to call in? Now's your time. Everybody's always saying you got questions, this and that, or whatever. And then now's the time that you can be able to call in and be able to ask right now.
I remember the last thing that was in Vicks. It's camphor. Camphor, eucalyptus, and menthol are the parts of Vicks.
Okay. Amen. There's still time before I don't want to have us take our leave early until I say my question wasn't answered. But in the meantime, we're thankful to everybody for being on. We appreciate you. Don't forget, if you're in I guess I'll take time out now while we're waiting to see if somebody will call in or somebody has another question. Forget that we do have our Georgia meetup set up. A Georgia meetup set up to happen at Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, to happen right after this at 11 a.m. Eastern New York time. Yeah, you can feel free to ask anything, Sister Tori. Sure. If you want to call them and just put it in the chat or whatever. I mean, the answer is just either going to be yes or no, or I don't know. But yeah, you can feel free to ask. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, if anything, even if it's not herb related, I guess if that's the question too, you can feel free to ask that. But don't forget that, and don't forget then those in the Northeast region, we're going to have our meeting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Central, and then we're going to have our meeting with everybody on Pacific time at 11 a.m. Pacific time today, right after this.
Narrow Path asked the question, how quick do you see results? So it depends. Some people feel results pretty much immediately after taking it. And that's with most herbs. It depends on the person, how deficient you are, how healthy or how quote unquote sick your body may be feeling at the time. When you give it what it needs, sometimes it responds very quickly. Sometimes, within 20 minutes, you're like, oh, I feel different, I feel something. Sometimes within 20 seconds, depending on how you take it. Like if you take one of my tinctures, you put it on your tongue, it's gonna go directly into your bloodstream, and you may feel the results immediately. You may feel, like I love taking my alertness tincture because I feel it immediately. Stinging nettle, you put the tincture under your tongue and you may feel results at that moment. Sometimes it may take a week. I know at one of our demonstrations, someone was given nettle and they had arm pain. They had it for several years, and they had a little bit of the nettle, and within minutes they gave a testimony that they were able to move their arm that had been in pain for several years, because the nettle will reduce inflammation so quickly and drastically. You may feel results immediately.
Yeah, that was at the convocation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Yeah, that was excellent. So yes, praise God. And well, like we said, there's still time, still room. Amen. Looks like so can you visit the Bloom and Flourish website? So right now the website's actually under construction, but you can try to text her at the information that I'm putting in the chat. Matter of fact, it's actually in the information with this live, but just in case it doesn't show up that easily for you to see, I'll put it in the chat right now. You can reach her at 410-469-1553. Again, that's 410-469-1553. Again, I say 410-469-1553. Last time, 410-469-1553. Sister Kimberly says, where should the tinctures be stored?
So if you're just talking about one of my dropper bottles tinctures, you can put them anywhere. You can put them in your purse. You can put them, in your pocket. You put them on a shelf somewhere. Depending on, where you use them, you put them where you use them. So if that's, in your car, probably don't want to get them heated up too often, as that starts to break down the chemical constituents over time. But they're very, very shelf stable, so they don't need to be refrigerated or anything like that. You can put them, on a shelf, on your table, on your nightstand, wherever you use them.
Sister Helen was asking, is there anything that can be used for high blood pressure and high cholesterol?
So I would suggest yarrow, and I have a high blood pressure tincture that has a blend which includes the yarrow, and some herbs that are great for lowering high blood pressure and cholesterol. So yes. So if you'd like to get that tincture, you could.
Okay. Amen.
So for alcohol consumption, I would say you may want to start taking kudzu for alcoholism and different addictive behaviors. Kudzu is great for those who are trying to get off of alcohol.
And somebody was asking a question about
Did Sister Nadine want to call in? Sister Nadine, did you want to call in?
She said she wanted to call in.
I'm not sure. She said she wanted to talk about something.
She said she has something to share, but it's not about the topic. Okay.
She said,
all right.
yeah.
All right, hello, Sister Nadine. I believe you're coming on, or at least we have Sister Nadine on from down in the South Florida area. Thank you for being on, Sister Nadine. Thanks for being on the podcast. How can we help you?
First Lady and family.
Hello, Shalom.
The medicine that I received from you, First Lady, for the fiber that I have, the reason why I'm sure I took the medicine. I was very bloated, and my stomach was really big, and I had a lot of pain in my lower stomach and my back. But after I finished taking all the medicine, and along with the fasting and changing my diet, my stomach is literally getting flat from looking like I was 9 months pregnant. And it was just 4 medicine that you sent. And I'm just sharing this because I want other ladies that are experiencing the same thing that I went through, that I was embarrassed to talk about. She can really help you. And just follow the instruction and change your diet. Like I cut out sweets and a lot of carbs. And the fasting, I fast for like more than a month now. And I've also stopped eating like 3 meals a day. I'm only eating one, but small meals, and drinking a lot of water. And I feel so much better. And not only that, the medicine also helped me to feel relaxed. I used to feel very anxious a lot, anxious to the point where my heart feels like it's just racing for no reason. And it helps me to sleep. So I just want to tell you thank you, First Lady, and I love you so much. And I really appreciate my family. And I'm feeling much better and happy. So all praises to the Most High. So that's what I wanted to share.
All praises to the Most High. We love you too, Sister Nadine. Thank you for sharing that testimony. That was awesome.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on. We appreciate it. Amen. Sister Tori says, how do I keep my weight? I've been eating clean for a really long time and I didn't realize how it would make me lose weight.
So herbs like stinging nettle will help you because they are full of B vitamins to help with your appetite, to improve appetite if you are lacking appetite. There are quite a few people that have lost their appetite and aren't quote unquote good eaters. They aren't able to maintain body weight. As many people that are trying to lose weight, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are people who are trying to gain weight or maintain their weight. So nutritious herbs such as stinging nettle, such as alfalfa, such as oat, those types of things can help with maintaining a healthy weight, not losing too much weight.
Amen. Awesome. Awesome. And we want to thank everybody for being on once again. We appreciate you. We kind of have to transition into the next thing coming up, but we thank you, Elder Maya, babe, my wife, for being on. We thank Elder Maya for being on and participating. If there's other questions, comments, or concerns, we have this. If you'd like to, we actually have this recorded on our YouTube channel, audio only. So if you want to go over there, you can look in different ways. That'll be in the description with that video. Just give a little bit of time. I tried to put it on before we got on. For some reason, it wouldn't let me put anything in the description before we started, but we'll have information on how you can reach out to her. We'll also have information on sorry about that, everybody. So sorry. Hopefully you guys can thank you. I was saying thank you for being on, babe. I apologize. I didn't know we were on. I did that by accident. My bad. So basically, I was saying thank you to everybody for being on, and we appreciate you. We appreciate my wife for being on. If you want more information, I was saying that there is some information in the description with this video right now. If you were to try and look at the description that's on with this, or not video, with this podcast right now, we also have this recorded on our YouTube channel. So we will have some more information in the description on how to get in touch with her. If you're not familiar with how to do so, or if you'd like more information, you can always text her at the number that was given, and that'll go directly to her. She can get in contact with you. You can also text myself if for some reason, you aren't able to get through at that number. You can also text us at SOC, and we'll make sure that we give the message over to her as well. She also offers classes with SOC University as well. She's going to be doing some different things, different places we go. Probably start in the DC area for a little while, DMV or Baltimore areas for a little bit. Where if you're interested in joining her for some things as far as foraging, how to learn how to forage, how to learn how to pick up different information in different areas, things like that, you can feel free to join up there and or join up and find out information about that. Also, if you are interested in doing consultation, things of that nature, you can reach her as well. Not only does she have obtainship, but she does consultation. She also has the ability to look up at different paperwork and different things that you have to be able to see if she can help you to come now I have to once again reiterate, this is actually Bloom and Flourish, so this is not SOC part, this is Bloom and Flourish. Bloom and Flourish is a for-profit organization, so just want to make that clear that she does have to make sure that certain things and bills and things of that nature get paid, but she can work with you, and since you're part of SOC, she will work with you, as many of you can probably attest to, that she has, in fact, made sure that she's worked with you to help out, because at the end of the day, we want to help you as best as we can. It's not just about making things off of anybody. Hey, how you doing, Brother Clem? Great to see you on, see your presence. So, just wanted to say that. Thank you again, babe, for being on. We appreciate you so very much. We're going to get ready to transition. Meetings for the day are as follows. If you're in Georgia, feel free to join us in the Zoom meeting, or Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, 11 a.m. Eastern New York time. If you're in Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, I'm forgetting somebody. Missouri, Ontario, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Ohio. We have a meeting that's going to be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern New York time or 11:30 a.m. Central New York time for you on Zoom. And if you were going to be meeting from somewhere on Pacific time, Washington State, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Montana, etc. If you'd like to be able to join us for that Zoom meeting, that'll be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We're working on making sure that we get all the links and everything and reminders to everybody. So please look for that with us. If you have a meeting that you've received from us that says SOC Community Meeting, if you have that link, that is the same exact link that we will be using again. So if you have that link, just make sure that you join us on that link. If I mention those places, everybody else will have yours on another time. But we thank you guys. We appreciate you. We honor the King and Queen in each and every one of you. Even if you're not living inside that kingdom or queendom yet, we appreciate the potential King and Queen in each and every one of you. I can try, I guess, to put the Zoom link. I don't know if I can put the whole Zoom link in the chat. So best I can do is just to tell you, if you have that link or if you've gotten it before on a DM, on an email, or a text, if it says SOC Community Meeting, see if you can go ahead and utilize that. I will do my best to see if I can put something in the chat for you guys real quick. And we'll let the music go ahead and play out, and we'll get ready for the first meeting that's going to be starting in a matter of minutes. So I'll do my best if it lets me. I think it just let me put it in the chat. So we'll leave it there. And thank you guys for being on. We appreciate you so very much. As always, this has been Elder Maya, and myself, Pastor Kofi. We are over servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken, until we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, just allow that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom, family. Peace.
Shabbat Shalom, family.